Streaming started. Yeah, sir.
Set up. Perfect.
Can you talk one time? Just one second.
All right. Mic check. Mic check one. Mic check one.
So we share the link. Yeah, I came from New Jersey yesterday. You go first.
Yeah. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Welcome back to the New York Oval for the continuation of the 2025 National Women's Cricket League T20 Championship. Very much impacted by rain the last couple of days, and so we managed to attempt to squeeze several matches into one day today. For the most part, we've been playing 2 matches a day on each ground. We are going to try to pull off 4 matches on each ground today because a lot of rain yesterday and I believe a 90% chance of rain tomorrow. So if possible, we're going to try the entirety of the tournament to be completed today, if that's at all possible. In the meantime, on your screen, you're seeing the DC Titans and the North Carolina Cyclones. Cyclones are in the field. The Titans, who won the toss, are batting 62 for 1 after 8. And by the way, we're playing 15 over matches. 15 overs as opposed to the usual 20. The idea is that the limited number of overs will allow us to get more matches in, and we hope to be able to do that. So, the batters are Tarnum Chopra, captain. She's on 28 from 24 with 3 fours. Adir Rawat, 14 from 14 with 1 boundary. After that single that you just saw, the score is now 63 for 1. We're into over number 9, over 9 of 15. The man who you just saw signal a wide ball there is the great Steve Buckner. Steve Buckner standing at the northern end as the umpire. The southern end, currently at square leg, is umpire Eddie Clark. Bowler, who is into the action now, is Halima Bikar. She's bowled 1.1 overs, none for 5. Starting out here with a wide as well as a single. To make sure that you control the proceedings. It's hard to do against Tarnum Chopra because she's extremely aggressive. And she has shown an ability to hit big. That single takes her up to 29 from 25 balls faced and 3 fours. And I'll tell you what she did in the earlier matches shortly, but she's a tremendous linchpin at the top of the order for the DC Titans. Whatever this time is defending it from the start to the run. So 65 runs on the board, the DC Titans and the North Carolina Cyclones. I will tell you that this is going to be a relatively high-powered matchup. The DC Titans, for the majority of the time, have looked the part. His ball is played down into the deep just for single. They've looked the part simply because they have the tremendous top order Tarnum Chopra leading the scoring, 124 runs coming into this match in the series. high score of 92, and that is hammered into the deep. One bounce to deep mid-wicket, and it gets away from her and goes away for 4. So that really should have just been 1 run, but it's hammered with ferocity by Tyrone Chopra. It goes away for a boundary. So as I was saying, before coming into this game, Tyrone Chopra, 124 runs from 96 balls, an average of 124 because she was not out on her second innings. 92 is a high score. We've already seen the dismissal of Sanvi Sood coming into this innings. She only had 12 runs for the tournament, but had a relatively good start and really looked the part from the time that she was out there. She ended up with 15 from 11 with 1-4 and 1-6, but I think her aggression at the top of the order is what helped the DC Titans to get off to a good start. In any event, this end of over number 9, 70 for 1 is your score. So just 6 overs remaining, and more bowling now coming from Shreya Balaji. Tossed up and just tapped into the outside, no run. Current partnership is up to 45. These two came together when the score was 25. You're now up to 70 for 1. Tyrone Chopra, 29 from 26. Adia Rawat, 19 from 17. Pulled around the corner, bold, and just falls short. Look at this, a run-out opportunity all day at the non-striker's end, but the fielder at square leg threw to the wrong end. Boy, had that gone to square leg or to the non-striker's end, it would have found Adia Rawat short by 10 yards. So they miss an opportunity here, the NC Cyclones. And the DC Titans, this pair will want to make sure that the running is a little bit more effective than what it was shown there. Single down the ground. And this matchup is an interesting one. We'll look at the overall standings here in just a minute. This is a Group A matchup. The Cyclones coming into this match do not have any victories yet. 2 games played, 2 games lost. The DC Titans, on the other hand, have played 2 and won 2. So they are at the top of the division, whereas the Titans, or make that the Cyclones, are not at the bottom of the division. They've lost 2, but because of a better run rate than the bottom team, the Northern Lights of Minnesota, they are the 4th ranked team, 4th of 5. But in any event, this is the battle of the winless versus the lossless, if you will. And the DC Titans looking to stamp their authority. Off to a fast start. Looking for the sweep here. This is missed out on here by Adia Rawat, but it's yet another wide. Have a few extras in this inning so far. To the extent that you can, you want to limit those because you don't want to help the opposition to score, and that's exactly what you're doing when you have 8 extras. So we'll clean that up. 74 runs on the board, 2 balls to go here and over. Number 10, hammered, and just to the left of the fielder in the mid-wicket area. They'll get at least 2. Will they come back for 3? No, they will not come back for 3. In fact, there's a slow throw, and now they do come back for 3. They'll get there. So it's not the strongest of throws that came in from the outfield, and on that side of the field, the boundary is about 60 or so yards. So it's a pretty strong throw that's needed to come in from the boundary all in that direction. The ball essentially thrown in and bounced a few times. That gave the runners additional time to pick up a run. And by the way, with that 3, that now gets you into the 15-run partnership era. And this is really a good start. Again, lost a wicket early, 55. I'll make that 25. And the score now 77. Ooh, loose shot here, and it is taken. I'll tell you what, that is a good piece of bowling. Just held it back just a touch. And Adia Rawat playing out in front of herself and lobbing a simple catch to extra cover Catch taken relatively easily there. I believe that is the captain who took that catch. Sravia Kanamori, I stand to be corrected on that, but in any event, it is the end of the partnership. Adiarawat goes 23 from 20 with 2 fours, and the DC Titans are 77 for 2. Okay, so my apologies. It's actually Taranum Chopra who was dismissed and not Adiarawat. So Taranum Chopra dismissed on the stroke of over number 10. So you're 2/3 of the way through this innings. Just the last 5 overs coming up. And the captain herself has been dismissed. 31 from 30 with 3 fours. And and now we're going to have to make another change because in fact it was Adiarawat who was dismissed, caught by Sravia Kanamori for 23 from 20 with 2 fours. So Taranum Chopra is still at the crease and she's now on strike because this is now the aforementioned bowler from the northern end, Halima Bakar, who will be bowling her last over. 2 overs, none for 12. We're bowling over number 11. So yeah, my apologies for that little mix-up. The scorecard had it wrong for a second, but they do have it corrected at this stage. So it is Anahita Mohan, who's the new batter. Taranum Chopra, 31 from 29, is still at the wicket. And in the last 29 balls, the DC Titans will be looking to get to something, I would think, north of about 110, 115. They have shown the capacity to do just that, especially if Taranum Chopra remains at the wicket. She does have an ability to hit big, and you'll see how well she can do, especially given the fact that, again, these truncated matches, just 15 overs, so you're already at the stage where you only have the last 28 balls to face, 8 wickets in hand, so you can expect that the team in general will be aggressive, and then particularly Taranum Chopra herself, who's been at the wicket from the beginning, open the batting. Oh, driven right past cover. Should have been stopped. Oh, they'll come back for the second. They'll get there now, but that ball really should have been stopped in the covers. But unfortunately, Captain Sravia Kanamori not able to get down to put that one away. So a couple more runs. And I started saying she's been there from the beginning. Taranum Chopra facing now 28 balls. So been there for a while. Comes down the track here, takes it on the full, and that's a good sliding effort in the deep at mid-wicket. They'll get 2 more. Expect for her to continue to be that aggressive. You're down to the last 26 balls of the innings, and even though Halima Bakar is a really good bowler, and she's done well so far, essentially going at a run a ball, I think that you've seen that she's one of the better bowlers in the side. 3 matches bowled or played, 36 runs conceded, and 2 wickets taken before today's match. Best of 2 for 13, and an economy rate of under 6, 5.14. So she's very effective from that standpoint. But into a position here where Taranum Chopra is going to want to be going after her. This is the last ball that she has on the day. Full toss, played down the ground. 2 is the call. In fact, no, they don't look for 2. They settled for that 1. 7 runs coming from the last over bowled here by Halima Bakar. Really good over in the context of things because the overall run rate is 7.64. So anytime you bowl them over, that concedes fewer runs than the overall run rate. That augurs well for your side. End of over number 11. The last 4 overs coming up. The score is 84 for 2. So 84 for 2. DC Titans winning the toss, choosing to bat here in day number 3 of the National Women's Cricket League T20 New York Open 2025. As I said, we're going to try to do the impossible and squeeze 4 games just aground into today's activity because of the fact that you are expecting rain for much, if not all, of tomorrow. And so that essentially means that the majority of cricket that we have left will be today. As of right now, it appears as though the showers predicted for tomorrow should be pretty on and off, but it's the type of weather pattern that can completely disrupt a cricket tournament. So the organizers here have decided to try to get as many of the games in as possible today. In the meantime, long hop here. Oh, she got away with that one. That could have been put away. And this is Smriti Balaji, who is bowling here. That is her second ball that you just saw. Smriti Balaji is an off spinner. This is, oh, put down. That should have been taken at short, mid-wicket. And for all money, you want your fielders to back you up and take those. That ball was not hit very hard. And she would be disappointed in not having taken that one. I think she may have just hurt her hand there a little bit. So that adds insult to injury. But you don't want to drop down and chop her. She's certainly capable of hurting you, and if you give her a second chances to hurt you, that's where you could potentially get in trouble. And in fact, we've now made a switch in that position because that fielder who was at mid-wicket is now at mid-on. Shuffling the pieces around here, the NC Cyclones. Oh, quick deliver that time. Sails through, attempted cut by Anahita Mohan. 1 from 1. 1 from 2 after that delivery. Just wanting to make sure that she partners with Taranum Chopra, who you sense is going to be one of the more important linchpins in terms of what happens the rest of the day. Skied, this should be taken, or will it? Oh, it's put down. Not an easy catch. The fielder running back from cover had about 5 yards to make to her left and was not able to secure it. Didn't necessarily judge it as well as she could have, and I think that contributed to that drop. So yet another drop. So you've had a couple of drops here. Taranum Chopra dropped once, and now Anahita Mohan dropped. And this is skied in the air. This will land in no man's land toward deep mid-wicket. At least a couple of runs. Do they want 3? They're coming back for the 3rd. They'll get there easily. That is good commitment to running. You can hear them call for 3 immediately. And the fact that the ball went all the way in the deep toward mid-wicket but didn't go to the boundary provided them the opportunity to get that 3rd run. So that is the end of over number 12. Last 3 coming up unofficially until the scoreboard gets refreshed. I believe the score is 89 for 2. So 89 for 2, Taranum Chopra. 43 from 38. Anahita Mohan, 2 from 3. And Shravya Kanamuri, the captain, back into the attack. And this is drilled into the deep and goes away for 4. Picking the gap between long on and cow corner, Taranum Chopra, and finding that to her advantage, and certainly being able to take advantage of the opportunity to score those runs. The scorers are not responding to umpire Steve Buckner when he signals, and the former international umpire is not happy with that. You would think the scorers would be on top of their toes if you're facing, or if you are working alongside a former international umpire like Steve Buckner. But be that as it may, here we are. It's over number 13, Travis Kanamuri. Appeal for leg before and given. Umpire Buckner had a long look, as he typically does, and finally deciding that that was hitting on, in my mind, in front of middle and off. So he had a good long look, Umpire Buckner. We are slightly, well, we're not directly over the bowler's arms. It's hard to judge the exact line, but I'm thinking that this is probably hitting middle and off. It was certainly very full. Hit her on the almost a half volley type shot, and you want to make sure that the ball wasn't bouncing over. Certainly would not have bounced over. It was a very full delivery. And here you see Taranum Chopra finding out that she could not negotiate that ball from her opposite number, Shravya Kanamuri. So that is wicket number 3. Taranum Chopra dismissed on the stroke of a pretty big milestone. That would have been her second 50 in the tournament, but she is dismissed. And so it's going to be now Nidhi Chuka who takes up guard at the striker's end with the dismissal of the captain. The DC Titans are now 93 for 3. First ball to Nidhi Chuka outside the line of off stump, no run. So the Cyclones have not won any matches yet. Had a couple, go through the details of what they've done so far in a minute, but they want to get themselves into the winning column, and certainly one of the ways of doing that is to be able to see the back of who has proven to be the best batter on the tournament for the DC Titans, Taranum Chopra. So you like the fact that you've dismissed her. In the meantime, off the mark here now is Nidhi Chuka. Anahita Mohan becomes the senior partner. So 2 relatively new batters at the crease. Anahita Mohan has only faced 2 balls, make that 3 balls. Nidhi Chuka faced 2. Between them, they have 3 runs. And so some making up to do here. Buck wants to come down the track. He saw her hesitate there. Ends up banging the ball into the offside for a single. But the aggressive hitting appears to have been put away for the time being, as the spare tries to get settled. So 1 ball remaining here in over number 13. In the air, down to mid-on. That should just be the only run that they get. So very good over that time for the captain, Shravya Kanamuri. You certainly want to pull things back, and she's done exactly that. With each bowler having been limited to 3 overs, of course it's a 15-over match, so you want to make sure that you understand that the number of overs that you can bowl is a maximum of 1/5 of the number of overs total. So 15-over match means that you can only bowl 3. In her second over, Shravya Kanamuri only concedes 7 runs and takes the big wicket of her opposite number, Taranum Chopra. So good stuff here from the captain. The 14th over is about to be bowled. Down to the last 12 balls of the innings, the DC Titans are 96 for 3. So 96 for 3. This looks like Smriti Balaji will be bowling again from the southern end. Quick flat, they take off a quick single, throw to the keeper's end. Look at the commitment to dive and get inside the crease. That's what you want to see. Find the opportunities to score those runs. That is a good effort that time from Anahita Mohan. Pairing up now with the new batter, Nidhi Chuka. short and skied in the air, nobody out there. Interesting field where there's no coverage in the deep on the leg side. That gives them the opportunity to get 2 extra runs. Oh, they come back for the third. Will they get there? Yes, they will. Excellent running between the wickets, putting the pressure on the fielding side, and certainly able to capitalize on the fact that the throws from the outfield have not been the strongest. So Smith Balaji conceding 3 runs there, where you could argue possibly have just been 2. And this is lofted down the ground and taken at mid-on. Good catch. Well judged. Taken at chest height by the fielder at mid-on. And so that is wicket number 4 that goes down. The wickets falling in a heap here for the DC Titans. For a while there, they appeared to be on target to get something north of 120. Don't know whether or not that's still on. So I will tell you that this has swung definitively in the direction of the NC Cyclones for the last few overs. And certainly you are not going to win this match very easily. In other words, you're up against a team that has not yet lost. But you've certainly taken steps toward fixing what was a pretty ordinary start in the last few overs. So you're now 97, make that 100 for 4. So Smith Balaji bowling over number 14. New batter is in. Appeal for a catch. Not given. Umpire Eddie Clark is unmoved. Of course, it's a West Indian pair umpiring today. Eddie Clark from the lovely island of Barbados, and Steve Buckner from Montego Bay, Jamaica. Ooh, slap and a miss that time. This is, by the way, the new batter, Sahiti Magula. And Sahiti Magula just now at the wicket. A couple of dot balls, so you're going in the wrong direction there. And we'll see exactly how close you can come to generating some momentum. Run out opportunity. Throw goes to the bowler's end. A more accurate throw there, could have seen the back of her, but that is a run that they concede. But look at this, the 14th over only goes for 5 runs and a wicket taken. So excellent stuff here from your bowler, Smith Balaji. And at the end of 14, last over coming up, the score is 101 for 4. Last over, and it is going to be the captain, Xavier Kanamuri. Looks to cut this one away. Can't get anything on it. So a precious dot ball. So the absolutely miserly bowling continues here for the NC Cyclones. Xavier Kanamuri, this is obviously her last over, in addition to it being the last over of the innings. So she's done really well, and her team has done well in the last several overs. The last 5 overs have only gone for 31 runs, if you can believe that. So scoring has slowed down tremendously. Scoring rate is right around 6. You can accept a run of ball at this stage of the innings, particularly in a 15-over match, a truncated match where you expect for the batters to be more aggressive. So 2 deliveries into over number 15, you only have 1 run on the board. So the last 4 coming up, the DC Titans will want to get something at least around 110, but they've lost the momentum here. That's played down the ground to long on, make that mid on, because the fielders in the deep are all now much closer in than you'd expect to see them at this stage of the innings. And that's pretty much a dead giveaway that the big hitters have all been dismissed. So they're in close to try to prevent the single, which you typically don't see with a spinner bowling in the 15th over or the last over of the innings. Sky, this is straight down the throat of long on, mid on, and she bobbles it and puts it down. She judged it very well. All she had to do was secure it, but not able to hold on, and had a second bite at the apple, if you will. Did the right thing to try to take the catch up high, missed it, then again tried to take it around her knees, missed that one also. So ends up being a drop and 2 runs. Should have been a wicket. That will irritate the captain, but still work to do here. Last 2 balls coming up. Tapped into the offside, just a single. But again, really miserly bowling by the NC Cyclones, and they can pull themselves back into what I believe is a really strong position. I would suspect that the team would understand that they pulled themselves into a much better spot than they would have been in, say, 5 or so overs ago. This is played past the bowler herself. Should just be a single. And in fact, that is the end of the over. 6 runs coming from the last over. 107 is your score. This is excellent stuff from the DC Titans in terms of the initial burst, but then the Cyclones coming all the way back to shut down the proceedings and make sure that the DC Titans didn't, as they say, run away and hide. Now, let's look real quickly at the full scorecard, as we'll have a quick turnaround here, you'd imagine. Turnham Chopra, LBW for 47. Sanvi Sood stumped 15 from 11. Alya Rawat 21 from 20. Anita Mohan Nara 8 from 7. Nidhi Chuka 3 from 5. Sahiti Magula 5 from 7. 8 extras, and you end up with a score of 107. The bowlers, I think, certainly the bowlers who bowled in the second half of the innings did a lot better, I think. Alyssa Vijay Kumar, 2 overs, 16 runs. Tisha Parekh, 2 overs, 1 for 15. Shravya Kanamuri, 3 overs, 1 for 24. Shreya Balaji, 3 overs, 1 for 21. Halima Vikar, 3 overs, none for 19. And Smriti Balaji, 2 overs, 1 for 10. Economy rate of 5. For me, she may have been the best of the bowlers. So, a quick turnaround. You think around 5 minutes or so. And then we'll come back to see whether or not the Cyclones can chase down this target of 108. See you shortly. Welcome back to the battle between the North Carolina Cyclones and the DC Titans. DC Titans batting first, scoring 107. 108 is your target. And the batters who will be looking to overhaul that target would be Vanilla Pendam and Palak Chauhan. Vanilla Pendam will take first strike from opening bowler for the DC Titans. And they're going to need to score these runs at the rate of 7.2 runs and over. 7 runs and over becomes a relatively straightforward chase, and it certainly would have been a lot more difficult had the DC Titans continued along the way that they were when they were scoring upwards of 9 runs and over. But good bowling job for the Cyclones to pull things back. Now they'll be asking their batters to see if they can chase down this target. First delivery. Wide outside the line of off stump. Not adjudged wide though by umpire Eddie Clark. So not ball to start here for the DC Titans. Cyclones again opening with the Vanilla Pendam and Palak Chauhan. See whether or not Leka Shetty with the ball can make early inroads, because that's what you want to have happen. The vice captain of the side is going to want to get the ball in the right areas and at least prevent scoring from being very restrictive, if you will. Appeal for catch. I think the noise that you heard there was the bat on the ground. So 2 dot balls to start the chase here for the Cyclones. Vanilla Pendam, right-handed batter. See how she will try to maneuver her side into a better position here. As of right now, she's played into the leg side. They'll go for a quick single. The throw coming to the keeper's end. A loose throw, not really cleanly sent in, but they'll certainly put themselves in a position of being able to pick up any singles when they present themselves. So the openers, Vanilla Pendam, Palak Chauhan. Palak Chauhan is actually the leading batter on the side for the NC Cyclones. 3 matches before this one, 76 runs from 79 balls faced, average of 38, strike rate of 96 with a high score of 53. So she does have that 150. She's on strike here. Good delivery, played into the offside. They'll get a single again. So that becomes that much more important at this stage of the innings to just get any scoring opportunities that you can. And Vanilla Pendam is the other opener. So her take strike. Coming in, has not had the best of tournaments at the bat. In 3 matches, she's only scored 3 runs. 2 innings. She's only played 2 innings and scored 3 runs. So she essentially has already surpassed what she's done already in the tournament, just from that one that she's already gotten today, going around the rate of 1 run an inning. Obviously, she'll want to do much better than that. Wants to join her partner, Palak Chauhan, because they need a quick start here to run down this total. Not the most easy total to chase, but will be challenging. Looks to cut this one away. Good couple of deliveries bowled here by Leka Shetty, and it ends up being just an over that concedes 2 runs. So excellent bowling by the vice captain. End of over number 1, scores 2 without loss. The 2 that lost underneath the Mohan, it is taking up the attack from the northern end. Should be coming in to bowl to Vanilla Pendant. No, apologies to Palak. Saw her with the bat earlier underneath the Mohan, but she's also the opening bowler. And bowling so far, at least in the first over, has been excellent. You certainly want to see more of what you saw there. Oh, just to cut this one off the back foot, not able to get anything on it, so dot ball to start. So Anita Mohan, 3 matches played. She has bowled 7 overs, 1 for 25 are her figures, best of 1 for 11. Importantly, the economy rate of 3.49 is about 1/2 of what the North Carolina Cyclones need to be able to chase down this total. So she needs to maintain essentially what she's done so far in terms of an over rate or scoring rate, economy rate. Starts out with a wide here though, so she'll want to fix that. A lot of effort the rest of the way is required. I think that you'll see that anytime you have a team looking up at a relatively steep target, puts pressure on the batting side. Oh, look at the extra bounce there. Good delivery. And the ball bounces over the attempted cut. So 2 dot balls to start with. Nothing off the bat yet in this over. I think you'll see where that over rate or the required rate starts to build. You certainly want to keep an eye on that. 3 runs on the board and your 9 deliveries into, well, 8 legal deliveries into this innings. Needing to go at this stage at the rate of 7.68 and over. And your requirement is going to be stiff if you're not able to get the ball in the right areas. Similar delivery again, lifting and over the attempted cut. So the bowlers for the DC Titans are doing exactly what they need to do. Build pressure, applying that pressure by building the dot balls. And the more dot balls that you get, then the more pressure is built, the more rash shots are induced. Then that's where the wicket-taking opportunities can come from. Next delivery. Instant replay. 3 consecutive deliveries. Very delayed appeal here for a catch. Bar Buckner will not be moved by those types of appeals. But importantly, that is 4 dot balls. Only 1 run in the over so far, and that 1 run was the wide route. You would want to fix that. But apart from that 1 wide, she's doing excellently here on Anita Mohan. Looking for the cuts. Not sure why we're appealing when the ball was dropped by the keeper, but that makes it 5 dot balls in a row. Bowled here to Palak. Last ball coming up. She's already bowled 6, but 1 of them was a wide. So this is the 7th ball of the over coming up, with the 6th legal ball in theory, last ball of the over. Advancing down the track, lofting it over the top of the mid-off. It should get 2. Oh, I'll tell you what, that could have been dangerous because the non-striker slipped and stumbled, almost fell, but in addition to that, the fielder running back from mid-off fumbled the ball, so that provided the opportunity for the runners to get back for that second run. So 3 runs coming from the over overall. 2 runs here spoils what would have been a real good over by Anita Mohan. But still, in the context of this game, it's exactly what you want. 2 overs in the books, 5 without loss. So back over to Lekashetti to bowl over number 3. Yorker length, beautiful delivery, swipe and a miss by Vanilla Pendem. Very full, just looking for the Yorker. Got the length exactly right. The line was maybe just a touch too wide if you're looking to hit the stumps, but certainly a delivery that was difficult to score off of. This one just a bit shorter in length, but also outside the line of off stump. A couple of dots to start over number 3. And I believe the power play overs are 1 through 4. I stand to be corrected on that since that was not exactly made clear. But in any event, we're still inside the power play. Full and straight. This time she gets the Yorker and knocks her over. What a beautiful delivery. Vanilla Pendem goes back to the pavilion. The first wicket in the books for Lekashetti. Once again, full and straight. And she beats the attempted poke by Vanilla Pendem and knocks back the middle stump. So the first wicket goes down. Cyclones 5 for 1. New batter comes to the crease. It's going to be Shmiti Balaji. Cyclones struggling a little bit here to get the ball off of the square. Are 15 deliveries into the innings, only 5 runs on the board. Looking now upwards of a rate of 8 and over to win this match. So they're definitely in trouble here. Lifting delivery again. This is really good bowling by this opening pair. 4 deliveries into over number 3. Already has a wicket and no runs yet conceded. So the margin is still 103 runs. You still need 103 to win. Those 103 certainly look a much more gigantic total at this stage because of the great bowling. First by Lekashetin, then Anahita Mohan. Yet another dot ball here. So I'll tell you what, of the last 11 balls I've been bowled in this innings, 10 have been dots. In fact, if you go all the way back to the first over, of the last 13 overs, or 13 balls bowled, 12 have been dots. There's a wide. That wide spoils what would have been a maiden over, a wicket maiden if you will. But still good bowling. Lekashetti now needing to close this out in a fashion that will allow her to continue to apply the pressure. 7-3 balls remaining, 102 runs to score. Ooh, struck into the offside, no run. Excellent over. Just 1 run. That 1 run was a wide and the wicket of Vanilla Pendem. So that is the end of over number 3. Score is 6 for 1. Six for 1 is your score after 3 overs. 2 and over is well short of the 8.5 and over that you need the rest of the way. It does not get any easier. And then hit the Mohan back into the attack. This is going to be a wide though, and they'll get at least 1 additional run. So But the only way to make sure that you get to this total is by taking advantage of any opportunities that you get to score. And you certainly don't want the DC Titans to help the Cyclones to score. As of right now, you need 8.3 and over. 8.3 and over is a stiff ask. And it's already going to be difficult because of the good bowling, but you certainly spoil that if you have extras. And you certainly want to make sure that that's fixed. Good delivery. That's the line that you want. And on balance, you've gotten off to a relatively good start. You want to make sure that you continue along the ways that you have started already. 4 extras in 8 runs. So half of the runs that have been scored have been in extras. So that doesn't help your effort at all. Stroke to mid-off. Taking off quickly and looking for that single. I'll tell you what, clean pickup at mid-off. And that may have just found the runner short. Umpire Steve Buckner mentioning to Anahita Mohan that she cannot run into the danger area. That is something that is the youngsters will need to be aware of. A lot of cricket in this country, of course, played on artificial surfaces. So it's not often that you have the opportunity to play a tournament on natural turf wickets. Some of the bad habits that you pick up playing in an artificial surface certainly puts you in the position of being found wanting when you're playing a tournament at this stage. Steve Buckner, of course, having umpired international matches for the last several decades. Now retired, living in the Mount Vernon, New York area, but sacrificing his time to be here at this tournament to help with the development of these youngsters. This is played off the back foot and gets through backward point. That's a fumble. Really should have been picked up cleanly. But anyway, the last thoughts on Steve Buckner. Again, very approachable, very friendly with the players when the match is not ongoing. However, when the game starts, he's all business. You'd expect for him to take care of all aspects of the game, and certainly you'd want to make sure that if there's a player who's running into the danger area, they will definitely hear about it. In the meantime, this is good batting here by this pair, looking to pick up the quick singles that it can, and I think that the best way to be able to get something close to the momentum that you need to make a charge toward this total is to do exactly what they're doing right now. Before the big shots start coming, just pick up the singles where they present themselves. The BC Titans will know that also, so the fielders on the offside have just come in a couple of steps. And this one is not going to be a single, play to the backward point area. The dot ball closes out over number 5, but over 4 rather. I'll tell you what, that was a good over. 6 runs coming from it. The best over that they've had so far, the NC Cyclones, and they need to continue building on that. End of over number 4 at 12 for 1. 5 is Brenda Ragavan with the ball in hand. Brenda Ragavan. Bowling here to Palakchan. Brenda Ragavan has proven herself to be the best of the bowlers in the side so far. 3 matches played, 2 innings where she bowled, 8 overs bowled, 4 for 16, best bowling figures of 3 for 6. So tremendous bowling there. And for me, what stands out the best is her economy rate of 2, which is just a truly, truly brilliant economy rate. Economy rate of 2 will win you most matches, including most test matches. So this is brilliant stuff from the young leg spinner. So 3 deliveries here are in to over number 5. And she started out really well. Just 1 run conceded so far. And I'll tell you what, now if you see on the right of the screen, there's a slip fielder in position because there's a little bit of turn that she's finding. Ball turning away from the right-handed batter. Palakchan, 6 from 11. Tossed up, looks to sweep. Appeal for leg before. And then an appeal for a run out at the striker's end. Neither is going to be given. No signal from umpire Eddie Clark. So that means that the ball came off the edge. That would have been the reason for no leg before wicket. So 1 ball remaining here. She only conceded 2 runs in this over here. Brenda Ragavan. Last ball coming up here in over number 5. Sky toward the offside. Wanted a run, not going to be there. Brenda Ragavan continues doing what you expect for her to do, bowling over where only 2 runs are conceded. Really good stuff from the lady who's proven herself to be the best bowler in the side. End of over number 5, a third of the way through the chase. The score is 14 for 1. Starting over number 6. The job gets more and more difficult for the NC Cyclones. Dot ball to start over number 6. And this is going to be a really difficult time if they're not able to get something going here. And these dot balls are not going to make it any easier. Of course, every time you have a dot ball, the required rate continues to shoot upward. Again, starting the match or starting the innings with a required rate of 7. It is now just short of 10, 9.72 to be exact. 3 consecutive dot balls here tells you that the pressure is absolutely building. A whole lot of dot balls has to be said. The number of dot balls in this innings already, 22. Full 71% of all the balls that have been bowled in this innings have been dots. That's not a dot. Struck into the offside for a single. But at this stage, you may want to start thinking about looking for ways to manufacture runs. Don't quite know yet that you're at 1 boundary and over territory, but you're actually not very far away from it. Only 56 more balls remaining And still 93 runs to get. Short delivery. Ooh, looks to pull this away. How's that as a call? Umpire Steve Butler says no. But when you continue having the pressure build in the way that it is now, and this player is having some trouble getting the ball away. Smith Balaji 3 from 14, Balachan 6 from 13. And the fact that this noose continues to tighten means that it becomes more and more difficult. With that dot ball, the required rate is now above 10 and over, 10.3 to be specific. End of over number 6, the score is 15 for 1. Back to Brenda Ravagan for her second over. Here for a run out. Where Eddie Clark is on move. So Brenda Ravagan, first over went for 2 runs. Talked about the fact that that's what she does. Bowls overs that go for 2 runs. Bowler who bowled over number 6 was Adia Rawat. Over 6 only going for 1 run. Over 5 going for 2 runs. Best over the innings so far. It's a relatively low bar, but over 4 went for 6. But apart from that, really tight bowling here for the DC Titans. Looks for the big swipe down the ground. Use her feet to try to get down to the pitch. Probably lucky that she wasn't stumped there. I think not the cleanest of collections by the keeper. A cleaner pickup would have had a stumping opportunity. So still looking up at 92 balls. Make that 92 runs from the next 52 balls. Anything at all away here, Brenda Ragavan. And your options for scoring remain relatively limited when you have such a strong bowling attack to contend with. Skied, pretty simple catch, and she takes it. Well, something had to give. Pressure building. Know that they have to go for the runs. Required rate going up, and at this stage with the required rate above 11, know that Smriti Balaji had to make an effort to go after the runs, and this time just knocking a pretty simple chance down the throat of mid-on. So that is wicket number 2. Balls when the score is 16. That partnership only worth 11. Opening partnership worth 5. So that tells you that essentially you're being squeezed out of this game at this point. If we had a win predictor, I would think the win predictor would be something around the lines of 98-2 for the DC Titans. A lot of work for the Cyclones to do to get back into this game. 16 for 2. Last two balls coming up here. The new batter is in. It's going to be Alias Vijay Kumar. Looks to wave and miss. Continuing really, really good bowling here by Brenda Raghavan. Alias Vijay Kumar joining Smriti Balaji. He's actually played back to the bowler herself. Good piece of fielding. So she does even better than her 2 runs and over. This time she only concedes 1 run and takes a wicket, no less. So brilliant stuff from the young leg spinner. End of over number 7. Score is 16 for 2. After 7, now 17 after that single to Milan. And the required rate now just short of 12 and over. So essentially 2 runs off of every ball is what you need the rest of the day. That becomes a very difficult rate to maintain, certainly over a longer period of time. And you're doing it with 2 relatively new batters. Alias Vijay Kumar, none from 2. Smriti Balaji, 5 from 16. So Smriti Balaji has been there for a longer period of time, but has not yet gotten off to the fast start that she wants. And certainly not the fast start that her team would need for her to have in order to take part in winning this match. Yes is a cry. We'll get a single here as well. But in the context of this game needing to be controlled and needing to do what we can to put yourself in a position to win, you sort of have to find ways at this stage to manufacture runs. We've seen the opportunity to do that yet. Has locked it into the deep, landing in front of the field at the wicket. They're essentially doing it in ones at this stage. That does not help your case. And while you don't ever want to turn down a single, singles alone will not win you this match. In fact, we're almost to the stage where doubles alone won't win you this match. Short delivery and wide. Our button says we have to re-bowl that one. There's a lot of time remaining in this match, but in 45 balls, it's less about the balls remaining and more about the runs that you need to get. That's also sprayed down the leg side, so you get a couple extra runs here. What I mean by what I just said is that, yes, you have 45 runs or 45 balls in which to get the remaining 85 runs, but you're not able to score aggressively, whether it be running through or running between the wickets, quickly putting pressure on the fielding side, or hitting big. Those are the 2 options. If you're not able to do either, then it's just a matter of what this final score is going to be rather than thinking who's going to win. Balls hit into the gap. It took just for a second to think there was an opportunity there for another run, but they were not able to get it. 24 runs on the board. A long way to go here, but already feels like extras. So already now, by my unofficial count, 9 extras. Those 9 extras will certainly be an irritant to the management of the DC Titans. Oh, she chops on, goes for the big drive, gets the under edge. The ball trickles back onto the stumps. So that is the end of the day with the bat for the new batter who just came to the crease not too long ago and now has to turn around and walk back, alias Vijay Kumar. Just 1 from 5, and the Lanka and Cyclones are 25 for 3. So 25 for 3, it appears as though we'll take a short water break. Not very hot conditions. I would estimate the temperature around maybe 73, 74 degrees Fahrenheit, somewhere around 24 degrees Celsius. So relatively pleasant from that standpoint, but the players do need a quick break. Umpires are going to allow them to do just that. We'll go silent here for a few minutes. We'll see whether or not the North Carolina Cyclones can chase down the remaining 8 to 3 runs needed in the next 43 balls. We'll be right back. So Adira what it is to continue. 9 runs from the over already. 5 of those 9 were extras. Got a wicket taken on the 5th ball, and now the last ball of over number 8 tapped into the offside for a dot. So a successful over. She'll want to clean up the wides, but the wicket is always a bonus. End of over number 8. Score is 25 for 3. 25 for 3, 83 runs needed in the next 42 balls. It becomes that steep of a hill to climb. It's going to be Brenda Ragavan to continue. This is worked around the leg side. A couple of runs here to start over number 9. You do get the sense that there is an inevitability about this match. I wouldn't go as far as to say that we're going through the motions, but it feels like there's no way that the Cyclones can win this. It's now to the point where we need 11.85 runs and over. They've not shown any ability to get anything productive off of Brenda Ragavan, who is now into her third and final over. Of course, we're again, as a reminder, playing 15 over matches instead of the usual 20. So in a 15 over match, the maximum number of overs that you can bowl as a bowler is 150. Struck into the offside. That should have been taken by the fielder cover. Puts it down. Wasn't exactly struck firmly. Was to her left. Had a bit of time to see it. Should have been at a good catchable height. But all of that didn't matter. She put it down, and that is yet another drop. So we want to clean those up, the DC Titans. But as of right now, they don't seem to be in a position of having it affect the outcome of this game that much. Bit of a wayward throw that time, but Brenda Ragavan, with 2 balls remaining in her spell, has only conceded 5 runs in the entirety of her spell. So it's just really brilliant stuff from the young leg spinner. To the leg side, they'll take a single. This throw's coming from the outfield. They're relatively aggressive, but not on the sail of the keeper's head by 5 feet. But again, little things that need to be cleaned up, but on balance, the players from the DC Titans have this game under control. Last ball coming up in over number 9 and in the day with the ball for Brenda Ragavan, at least as it relates to this match. By the way, just to say good morning to those of you who are following the feed on YouTube. Thank you, as always, for following along with the action. As we always say, if you are able to and would like to join in on the conversation, would love to take your thoughts about any and all that you see here. Feel free to just jump into the chat and say anything at all about where you're watching from, who you think is going to win, anything you know about the players that you think the rest of us should know. Essentially anything that keeps me from filibustering for the next several minutes by myself. So things will continue later on here this afternoon. I mentioned earlier that we're trying to get 4 games in today, and I believe that is realistic, assuming we have no more rain. And again, there's been a ton of rain around the last couple of days, but assuming no more rain, then I believe that we would be in the position of being able to get all 4 games in, because they're 15 over games, so they obviously won't take as long as the T20s. In the meantime, this is going to be new bowler coming from the northern end of the ground. Smita Balaji 10 from 23, Nikita Gunelli 1 from 2. A lot of work needed by these 2 batters. Couple sprayed down the leg side though, so consecutive wides, and obviously this one is going to go for an additional run as well. So bowling is going to have to be tightened up just a little bit. Seen a few loose deliveries, and even though yes, you have a long way to go, and it's going to be very difficult, but it's made less difficult if you spray the ball down the leg side and give away 3 runs. So bowler's going to want to clean that up. That's better. Get back to the bowler himself and a run. So a dot ball to start over number 10. And I say to start, I mean officially. Because she's bowled 2 deliveries already. Nidhi Chuka. But those 2 initial deliveries were both wides. So that last ball you saw was her first legal delivery. Appeal for leg before. Clara Buckner having a good long look. And you really never know how long it's going to take for him to raise that finger, because he likes to deliberate over his decisions, Umpire Buckner. And it takes a really long time, but that time deciding eventually that that was not hitting the stumps. Go down the leg side, square-legged position. The strong throw. It was a strong throw, but not exactly accurate in the sense that it was sort of a half volley to the keeper, if you will. And not able to collect it clean. It would have been an interesting call had that been a direct hit or had it been a better throw. But you pick the singles up the way that you can. At this stage, you need everything that you can get. 33 balls remaining. And you have another 75 runs to get. Make that 74 after that wide. So 34 runs on the board. 13 of the 34 are extras. So that is a shockingly high percentage for a team that is as good as the DC Titans. Oh, but that... the most elegant of shots played that time by Nikita Gonelli. Almost turned her back on that one, and playing without looking at the ball is not exactly the best technique. So from my standpoint as a bowler, I'd want to just target the base of the stumps like that. That's a really good effort. In fact, it was a good effort from the standpoint of the length, full, that didn't quite get it straight enough, and umpire Buckner says that that's yet another wide. So that is now 14 wides. A full 40% of the runs that have been scored in wides. So the Cyclones having a torrid time over here. Looks to paddle it around the leg side, but yet again another wide. These are things that you're going to want to clean up when you play some of the teams that are more accomplished, because the DC Titans, who are an excellent batting side, and when the bowlers get it right, they're a good bowling side, but shown a propensity to bowl a lot of loose deliveries. They split into the outside, no run. So 1 ball remaining before you get to the 10 over mark. And 7 runs from the over already. 7 runs from the over, and up to 7. 6 have been wides. So absolutely in need of cleaning that up for the Titans. But in the meantime, last ball here, solidly in defense, even though she was a bit tentative to keep the Bonelli. End of over number 10. The score is 36 for 3. Last 5 overs coming up. 72 runs needed. Oh, top edge flies over the top of the keeper's glove, running down toward the boundary. They should get a couple. Not exactly fleet-footed of the runners, but they'll get 2 runs needed to get themselves off to a decent start here in the 10th over, make that 11th over. And so you understand that things are going to be difficult from the rest of the way. Well, I mean, speaking relatively conservatively, if I were to be blunt, they're essentially in a very difficult position here and will have trouble getting, I think, anywhere near the total. 38 runs on the board now. Still need another 70, and only with 28 runs to get. This gets through the fielder and the covers, though. They'll get a couple of runs. We're coming into the keeper's end. Oh, I'll tell you what, had that been collected, it would have been a run out. And now they go for an additional run, and they get there. So maybe a bit of sloppy cricket here for the DC Titans. Easily could have had a run out. First of all, there was an initial fumble. Then throw coming from the outfield should have been collected and run out at the keeper's end. And then all the way from that overthrow to a 3rd run. So 3 runs total. Looking to see exactly how they can manufacture any opportunities to score runs. But those opportunities are few and far between at this stage. Batters right now in the Keith Gunelli and Smith Balaji. Keith Gunelli has not batted much. 2 matches, she scored 1 run before this innings, so she's right now in the middle of her best batting performance of the tournament. 4 from 6. Smith Balaji, 12 from 27. So far, Smith Balaji has had a similar time at the bat. Before this innings, she'd scored just 1 run. So this pair is getting a chance to show what they can do up against a much more dominant opponent, but you still have the opportunity to put a good name on the board for yourself. Just let your coach know that you can handle the pressure, you can take advantage of the opportunity to score runs when they present themselves. In the meantime, this is Akshara Patibandla who's bowling. Akshara Patibandla, tall right arm medium pacer. And into over number 12. Top edge, it's going to land short and then spin away from the fielder backward point. Run completed here, but at this stage, again, we're essentially to the point of discussing what the margin of victory is going to be rather than which team is going to win it. There's certainly a lot of time remaining here. Well, not a lot of time, a lot of distance between these 2 teams given the time remaining. Sharapatibanu is first over. Goes for all of a handful of runs. Down now to the last 3 overs. short of the fielder and the cover as they cannot get around there, but for a split second, just to head up to get something. Didn't exactly happen. So at the point of the innings here where we're just waiting for the final margin of victory to be established. That's a good looking shot. Oh, almost pulled off a stunner at mid-on. Pounded that one. That's as hard a ball that has been struck all day. And mid-on stuck one hand out there and almost pulled off the most stunning of catches. Able to complete it, but it's in the position of being able to take those catches. Sometimes they come off, sometimes they don't. Throw here down to the non-strikers end as it is Nikita Ganella who continues. She's battling out there, not exactly comfortable with the ball coming into her body, but I think you've seen her show some ability to fight, which is what you want to see from the youngster. Here's the next delivery. Skied and landing short of the fielder in the point area. Couple more, just one more run. And just 2 balls remaining here in over number 12. We're caught up on the entire score in just a second. In the air and just over again, the top of the fielder in the cover has had to come back for the second. Coming back, good strong throw. I'll tell you what, that is beautifully done, and that is gone. That is a strong throw from the outfield. One of the stronger throws that we've seen all day. That was probably a 45-yard throw, and it carried to the non-strikers and on the pole, and a good collection by the bowler herself to effect the run out. So that is good work. Excellent work. And wicket number 4 goes down. Cyclones up against it still. They are 47 foot, make that 48 for 4. Last ball of over number 12. Hammered. Couple bounces to mid-on. Strong throw. Would have been close had it hit, but she gets home. So 4 runs coming from the over. End of over number 12, and the score is 49 for 4. Nope, apologies. Should have been the last ball over. They're appearing to still be lining up to go here. So, in fact, the umpires are going to confer now, and I believe that they would have found out from the scores that the over is done. Nope, still talking about it. By my unofficial records, that is the end of the over, but they'll still continue here. Played to the outside, no run. This time they do call over. So that is the end of over number 12. 3 coming up. Last 18 balls, 59 runs. The last 3 overs coming up. First of the 3 to be bowled here by Lecochetti. Solidly in defense is new batter, Smith and Mal. At this stage, I believe that the Cyclones are essentially batting for pride. Realistic chances for victory, I think, went out the window some time ago. Upwards of 20 runs and over is what you need from this stage, and certainly with a couple of dot balls here, that becomes even more unrealistic. But again, you still have the opportunity to give a good account for yourselves, or of yourselves, and I think that's what you're going to see from Schmidt Balaji, who's 18 from 33, and Sumeda Pal, who's yet to score. Ooh, waving at this one and missing out. So 3 straight dot balls to start over number 13. And you've seen, for the most part, where the game has been out of reach of the Cyclones for some time. But as I said earlier, they may just be playing for pride at this stage. No wins yet for the tournament. That's locked in the air. That will land safely out of the reach of the fielder from the backward square leg area. And they'll pick up 2 runs. So that's good running. We want to see them display those skills. We want to see them do what they can to at least put up some sort of a fight. Chances of victory went out the window a long time ago, but you can still put up a fight in the way that will show your coaches that you're at least up for the fight. Into the offside, no run. Should be the last ball over number 13 here. Oh, that's a good looking shot. That's running away close to the boundary. That may get there. That is a solid looking shot, and it goes for 4. For me, not only is it the first boundary, but it's the shot of the day for the North Carolina Cyclones. So good looking stroke to end over number 13. Moral victory perhaps, but you'll take it. Smith Balaji up now to 24 from 39 balls faced. Again, that is the first boundary struck. And that is the end of over number 13. Score is 54 for 4. So just the last 2 overs coming up here, 12 balls, 54 runs. Sprayed down the leg side yet again. So a couple of wides to start over number 14. This is going to be Akshara Patibandla, I believe. confirm that as soon as we can, but I believe that's who's bowling now. Played into the offside. So back to the bowler, really, in the bowler's direction, no run. Yes, in fact, that is Akshara Patabangla who is bowling. There she is again. Interesting delivery. Almost like a Sohail Tanvir type of delivery, or think of it as a right-handed Sohail Tanvir, if you know the former Pakistan international left-arm quick. It's almost like the front arm comes, or the bowling arm comes over before the front foot plants, right there. That's very, very unique. Don't generate a lot of momentum through your run-up in that way, but it is all arm strength that gets the ball there. It's a unique type of delivery. And of course, if you can be compared to somebody like a Sohail Tanvir who took several wickets over a long career with Pakistan, then you'll understand that that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it is unorthodox. In any event, a couple of dots here after the initial wide. Next delivery in the air between point and the backward point. They'll get a single. So it should be the last two balls of the over coming up here from Akshara Patabangla. Going through the last rights here as the DC Titans are going to end up with a pretty massive victory, if you will. Right now, if the game were to end, they would have won by 49 rounds. Yorker length, played to mid-off. Wanted to take off for that second run, and they'll get there. Tell you what, that was alert running by the batter herself. Coming down to find the opportunity for that run. And she gets there now. So that's a good piece of running. And 5 runs coming from the over. Akshara Patabangla on his first second. The penultimate over of the innings goes for 5 runs. Score is 59 for 4. Last over. That's pulled past mid-wicket toward the sweeper on the boundary. Come in and they'll get 2. So again, just going through the last rights here. Pretty massive victory here for the DC Titans is on the cards. Cyclones, if you're chasing 108 for victory. Skied into the offside and taken. Cover takes a pretty simple catch. That is wicket number 5. So I started saying if you're chasing over 108 runs to win, then it's kind of hard to get to that type of target if you only hit 1 boundary for the entirety of the innings. And having only hit that 1 boundary, really you're up against it the entirety of the way. And that is why at this stage of the innings, you have the situation where you're looking upwards of, very long way to go. And for the most part, things would have gotten more and more difficult the entirety of the way. So just again, you're administering the last rites. Just the last 4 balls. By the way, we never did announce it's Adiara Watt who is bowling the last over the innings. And the batters are Krishna, Kartika Pendam, and Smita Pal. Ooh, catching opportunity there. I think you might have heard a pretty vociferous appeal for leg before. Leg before for a catch. Not given. Certainly because the keeper dropped the ball. It's kind of hard to appeal when you have that happen. But in any event, should be the last ball coming up here in the match. Played to the outside. Listen to the cheers for the new batter, Bendem, who is off the mark. I believe that's why you heard those cheers. She got 2 runs. And in fact, this will now be the last ball. I was mistaken. I was off by 1 run. By 1 ball, rather. This should be the last ball of the innings. DC Titans on the verge of a pretty comprehensive victory. Looks for the big drive and should get a couple of runs, maybe 1 run. Maybe they'll come back. Nothing to lose. Come back for that second run. It's going to be a run out, is it? Yep, there's a run out. And at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter. You have nothing to lose. That is the last ball of the game. The DC Titans winning this one by the margin of 43 runs. In the end, a pretty comprehensive victory. And they're all still on the field. Don't know that they realize that the game is finished, but actually now I think they do now. So 28 runs make that 43 runs is the margin of victory. Just going through the full scorecard, a pretty comprehensive victory for the Titans. So the Cyclones tried but really never mounted much of a resistance. Just 1 batter into double figures. That was Smita Balaji, 28 from 44. The second highest score was extras with 18. But extras would be your second highest score. That tells you that you essentially are up against it. 64 is all they can muster, looking to chase down a target of 108. So the DC Titans taking the victory by the margin of 43 runs. Bowlers were all, I think, very effective. Lekha Shetty, 3 overs, 1 for 14. Brinda Raghavan, miserly as usual, 3 overs, 1 for 6. Adira Watt, 3 overs, 2 for 15. Those were your best bowlers. Had a run out, in fact, a couple of run outs, and then that is actually just 1 run out, and that is where you end up. For the most part, actually, you did have 2 run outs, my apologies, but on balance, a pretty comprehensive victory for the Titans. So, that is the end of the coverage for the day for this match. And I'll tell you within a few seconds who is going to be what the next game is that we're going to cover. Right here at round 3, you will have the Southern Strikers against Dream Cricket. That happens local time 11:30, so in about 20 minutes. So stick around, stay with us. That will be the second of 4 games that we'll be covering today. In the meantime, we'll take a drink, put your feet up, maybe check in on England versus India. Also check in on West Indies versus Australia later on in the day. But in the meantime, a lot of women's cricket here for the rest of the day. See you shortly.